So here's the story the Patriots' Cam Newton released. By the way, I'm hearing this morning, and Cam's always been bizarrely coddled by the media. I can never figure out why the media chooses to support some players and not others. Like Lamar Jackson gets more crap. The guy wins 80% of his games. He gets better every year. Cam Newton never had back-to-back winning seasons. But Cam has been bizarrely coddled by the American sports media his entire career. And he's a 59.5% completion percentage, banged up guy who two COVID issues with the Patriots, and they let him go. I was told this morning by a source I trust, the COVID stuff, last straw. One thing about inconsistency, one thing about last year, this year, they were done with it. Okay, and so in the end, Ron Rivera and Bill Belichick, both defensive coaches, both smart coaches, both successful coaches, both been in Super Bowls, both bailed on Cam. And they're both, what? No nonsense head coaches. Ron Rivera and Belichick have no time for nonsense. The quarterback is the position that has to be reliable. I don't want to hear this morning that Mac Jones won this job because he was good against fourth stringers in the preseason. That didn't hurt. But you don't go from backing up to being the only really starting viable quarterback in a team because you were great against the fourth stringers. Don't kid yourself. This COVID nonsense, don't listen to anybody. I got it sourced. It drove them nuts. I said this last week. New England leaked the story last week. They were unhappy with this COVID snafu by Cam. New England only leaks what they want out. There's a new book out by Seth Wickersham on the Patriots and their 20-year dynasty. There's stories in there none of us have heard. 10 stories none of us have heard. New England lets out what they want out. And a day after the COVID snafu, the story leaked they were unhappy. Why? Because when they, and I told you this last week, when they moved off Cam, they wanted you to know it's on him, it's not us, and we're pissed. This is not just Mac Jones winning the job because he was good against four stringers. And he did a good job. And I'll get into that in a second. He did a good job. Mac Jones did a good job. And he deserves opportunities. And I'm excited. The AFC now has got all young quarterbacks except Big Ben and Tannehill. It's all young guys. And it's exciting. But there's two things here. The Patriots gave you a heads up what was happening. Number one is they leaked the story last week, how disappointed they were. So when they moved off Cam, it's not us. The second thing is, did you notice 4 to 5 different veteran New England players? James White, Matthew Slater, Brian Hoyer. These are all Belichick's guys. Dante Hightower. These are all Belichick's guys. All leaking stories in the last week. Oh, Mac Jones is so mature. He's won the locker room. He's a remarkable player. You think it's a coincidence? No, they made sure they put some veterans out there, and they said nice stuff about Mac Jones, how mature, how ready, how he'd galvanize the locker room. Between the leak last week and those press conference quotes from players, they were telling you, it's time. Listen, we all knew it was a Band-Aid. We all knew the Cam thing was a Band-Aid. Listen, I thought it was a weird fit, but I was like, he's coachable. It's a bridge year. You lose Brady. They signed Cam late. I mean, nobody here expected. I didn't. You didn't. We didn't expect New England to win a Super Bowl. They had 8 guys opt out. It was a weird year. We all knew this was a Band-Aid, but I think the second COVID issue and Mac playing well in the preseason, let's just rip it off and go. But remember, what is the one thing that Belichick truly loved about Brady? Wasn't his arm, wasn't his athletic ability, wasn't his size. It was Tom's reliability. You got the same Tom every day. He was the first at practice, the last to leave, watched the most film. Tom Brady's not flawless. But if I just said Tom Brady, reliable. Nobody works harder. Nobody said the right thing more. Nobody was as dependable and reliable as Tom Brady. It's snowing. He threw the same ball than if it was sunny. Zone, man-to-man, press coverage, you got the same quarterback. Cam, the last word you could use is reliable. And so everybody today is going to say, well, you don't go from starting to released because Mac Jones tore it up against four stringers. The second snafu COVID, it's a thing. It's a thing. Oh, by the way, I'm told the Colts are not happy with unvaccinated Carson Wentz, and I believe Minnesota would move off Kirk Cousins in 5 minutes if they weren't trapped with this horrible contract. We all make decisions. You agitate, you'll get released fast. Fast.